only about 30 to 50% of these cancers are HPV positive, which is an interesting aspect. It seems that about 50 to 70% are still negative. In oropharyngeal cancers, there also is a wide variation now. In some cities, the rate is presented at about 80% right now of oropharyngeal cancers, and there seems to be a rapid increase in positivity here. For anal and perianal cancers, the situation seems to be somewhat similar to cervical cancer, vaginal cancer, and nail bed cancer are relatively rare. The distribution of cervical cancer varies widely throughout the world. There are a couple of countries like in Equatorial Africa with very high rates, and there are others like China, but these statistics originate from Beijing and Shanghai, which have a low rate, not from the western part of China, where the situation is different. And in Israel, the rate is very low. Spain shows also a very low rate of cervical cancer. Now, this shows again in another graph the distribution in South America, in Africa, Southeast Asia, with very high rates of this type of cancer. Now, basically, we can calculate that at least something like 530,000 new cases occur annually, and that about 76% of these cases occur in resource-constrained countries, whereas 14% in the so-called well-to-do countries. Now, the calculate roughly is that about 1/2 of the women with cervical cancer die also of this type of disease. In some countries like Equatorial Africa, in this case in Tanzania, cervical cancer represents by far the most frequent cancer in women, exceeding substantially the rate of breast cancer incidence in the same region, and also the mortality is commonly very high in these cases. Now, we do know that the virus is a causative agent. I think I will not dwell on these aspects in any detail, but these genes are present and uniformly active in cervical cancer cells. They possess growth-promoting and transforming activity. The malignant growth of cervical cancer cells depends on the expression of these genes, which one can experimentally extinguish, but under those circumstances, the cells are no longer malignant. And the most important aspect, the epidemiology also identifies them as a major risk factors, and the vaccines against high-risk HPVs protect against the precursor lesions of this cancer. When I say precursor lesions of this cancer, you may have noticed before that the latency period of cervical cancer is in the order of 15 to 25 years. And the